Hello and welcome back to the next video. In this one, we're going to learn our first three-fingered chord, which is a D chord. So hopefully at this point you have memorized your E minor, your C, and your G chord, and can switch between those chord changes at about 40 beats per minute, because that means at least we're starting to get some dexterity into our fingers. So let me show you how to do this chord. I'll show you zoomed out first, and then we'll go in for the close-up. So the easiest way to learn how to get in and out of a D chord is to start with E minor. So everything on these first four chords is based around E minor. So start with E minor, so you have your first finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, your second finger on the 4th string 2nd fret, and what I want you to do is move both of these fingers down. So the first finger is going to come to the 3rd string and the second finger is going to come to the 1st string. So they're both staying in that 2nd fret. Let's go back to E minor again. So back to E minor. All right, lift up the fingers, put the first finger on the 2nd fret 3rd string and the second finger on the 1st string 2nd fret. And what we're going to do is now we're going to add our 3rd finger on the 2nd string 3rd fret, and we can play the bottom 4 strings. Now don't be upset if when you're strumming you hear this. Probably means you're playing on the pads of your fingers instead of your fingertips. That's why these 3-finger chords sometimes are tricky, because sometimes we'll mute strings. So again, if we go back to E minor and we take our first finger down to the 3rd string 2nd fret, the second finger to the 2nd fret 1st string, and our 3rd finger is going to come to the 2nd string 3rd fret. We can strum the bottom 4 strings. And we have a beautiful D chord. Usually when you're strumming, if you hear this kind of muting going on, a lot of the times with the D chord, it's because the 3rd finger is resting on this bottom string. For a lot of people, that's usually the finger that's the problem finger for the D chord. So just make sure that the knuckle on this 3rd finger is bent so that you're playing on your fingertips. The other thing, make sure you're not playing the guitar at a crazy angle, that it's lying flat. Straighten out your guitar so that you're playing. I know it makes it harder to see the strings, but it'll help you play your chords better. And don't forget the pencil tip. Make sure your hand is not hugging the bottom of this neck and not providing any space underneath the fingers here. So those are a couple tips, but it's usually the 3rd finger that's the problem finger for the D chord. But practice going between E minor and D, and soon enough you'll have it very good. It's a great sounding chord. So let's go in for a close-up quickly so that I can show you how to get between the E minor and the D chord. Okay, welcome to the close-up of the D chord. We're going to start with that E minor chord that we know and love so much. And the easiest way to get to the D chord is to take this E minor, move the first finger down to the 3rd string, and move the second finger down to the bottom string. Both of them are staying in the 2nd fret. So go back to E minor. To get to D, first finger down to the 3rd string, second finger down to the 1st string. Let's try that one more time. Back to E minor. First finger down to the 3rd string, second finger down to the 1st string, and then the 3rd finger is going to come on this 2nd string 3rd fret. And like I said, the problem finger is usually this 3rd one lies flat, and we mute this bottom string here. So try, see how my knuckle is bent? Try and get that knuckle to bend. I know that's going to be hard in the beginning, but try and get that knuckle to bend and try to make sure there's space under your fingers for your guitar. See, you want to be able to make sure there's space underneath. All right, so let's try that again. Back to E minor. And we're going to take the first finger down to the 3rd string, the second finger down to the bottom string, and the 3rd finger comes on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, play the bottom 4 strings. One more time, back to E minor. And then to D, 3rd string, 1st string, 2nd string, 3rd fret. So there you have it. that is your E minor and your D chord. And now what I want you to do is I want you to add this D chord into the mix with your chord changes. So use your chord changing chart and you're going to start practicing E minor to D, C to D, G to D. So you're going to add those chord changes into the mix. And now that we have these 4 chords under our belt, you have just unlocked thousands of songs that you can actually play. There's a lot of beginner songs that use just these 4 chords. You can actually visit my website, laurenbateman.com, where I have a lot of chord charts and I've organized some of them into the chords that they use. And there's quite a few that just use these 4 chords or versions of these 4 chords. So practice hard. What I want you to do is I want you to work on all of those chord changes. E minor to C, E minor to G, E minor to D, C to G, right? C to D, and G to D. I want you to practice all those chord changes, and you're not allowed to learn another chord until we get those up to 100 beats per minute on your metronome. All right, really want you to practice, get those up to 100 beats per minute, and then you can move on and learn the full versions of the C and the G chord.